Travel with me.
Hey fellow humans, Mina here. Welcome back to another Drive and Talk Hanoi Vietnam edition. Last week, we started talking about what I like to call Infodump the series. Well, it's a trilogy, but it's still a series, semantics. And this week, we're going to talk about the second book in the Schoolomance series. The book we're talking about today is the second book, obviously, as I just said, The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. And if you want to check out my review of the first book, check out the little card up in the corner and all that fun jazz, or in the now Schoolomance playlist, you can do that too. But yeah, before we dive into the book, I'll give a quick synopsis rundown according to Goodreads. So, the dark school of magic has always done its best to devour its students, but now that Elle has reached her final year and somehow won herself a handful of allies along the way, it's suddenly developed a particular craving for her. As the savagery of the school ramps up, Elle is determined that she will not give in, not to Mals, not to fate, and especially not to the Schoolomance. But as the specter of graduation looms, the deadly final ritual that leaves few students alive, if she and her allies are to make it out, Elle will need to realize that sometimes winning the games means throwing out all the rules. Wire-witty, endless, inventive, and moderately funny, yet with a true depth of fierce justice at its heart, this enchanting novel reminds us that there are far more important things than mere survival. And before I get into the review, I will just say that last little paragraph, it wasn't very funny or witty or any of that, but yeah, anyway, now if you want to read this series, I recommend coming back because we need to rant about this. Before I start though, I will admit this book was better than the first one, but not by a whole lot. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. But yeah, let's get into it. So, spoilers ahead. That mini cliffhanger at the end of the first book, it results in a flop in this book. Nothing in this book gives me reason to believe that the warning from Elle's mom about Orion. He was barely in this book compared to the last one, actually. And then he gives us that cliffhanger at the end, which we could all see coming when we hear about this genius plan to send the school to the void. I hope book 3 does something with this book's cliffhanger, and maybe we'll also find out why Elle's mom tried to warn her about Orion in the first place. Now, speaking of that plan to send the school to the void, I'm glad they all realized that the school is a death sentence and decided to stop it. But who thought it was a good idea in the first place? If I were a parent in this world, I would be homeschooling my kids. I feel like that would be safer and more efficient. I mean, the school doesn't even have teachers, and the school itself doesn't even care if you do your own work as long as it gets done. So, cheating is totally okay. So you could technically go through your entire education without actually learning anything, and if you got some poor newbie to do all your work for you, you'd be fine. And then you can still die at graduation anyway. And what's the point of working so hard to become a valedictorian at this school anyway? The graduation ceremony isn't a ceremony at all. It's just a mad dash through an obstacle course where you may or may not die. So because graduation is only graduation in name, why does someone have to be named valedictorian? It makes no sense to me. There's not even any perks that come with it other than just a title. That said, this book has so many transitional issues. At one point, Elle and gang were having a serious discussion about surviving graduation in the cafeteria when, in the same paragraph, they were now at a different scene. I'm not even sure if it was the same day or another day. And then we go to yet another tangent in that scene, and now I'm just confused. The transitions in this book need a lot of work. Also, why is everyone trying to kill Elle and Orion when they're only trying to make sure everyone gets out alive during graduations? Do they not want to survive? I don't know, this book is basically part 2 of the info dump, the trilogy. I appreciate the world building, but since we got so much of it in book 1, I was hoping for more character interaction and plot in this one. Alas, that was not the case, though I will admit there was a bit more plot in this book than book 1, and Nell did grow, albeit barely, as a character, so that's a plus, I guess. I wish most of the book didn't spend its time running an obstacle course that seniors don't even have any classes in their last semester. in all the info dumps, we didn't even get enough exposition about how the schools function in terms of classes, in my opinion. I'm still going to read the last book, mainly to see what happens to Orion. I also paid extra money for this trilogy, so I don't want to waste my money. But sadly, I'm not as invested in this series as I thought I would be. If I were reading this on my Kindle, I'd probably just call it quits by now, but I have the physical copy, so I might as well see how it ends. And also, the covers are still pretty, so there's that. they're not, I guess, the most extravagant covers, but I still think they're really pretty, so yeah. How about you guys, my fellow humans? Have you heard of this series, the Schoolomance series? Which, again, I still personally think Schoolomance is a stupid name, but do you think it's a stupid name? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see if we agree on that one or not. And would you read this series? Because, again, the premise is really interesting. I just think it failed in writing, in delivery. But maybe you guys would actually enjoy it. I don't know, because it's got like super high ratings on Goodreads. I don't know. I don't think I fall with the high rating people for once. And normally it doesn't take much for me to rate a book high. Like, y'all hear me on this channel, I'll be ranting about books that I rated 5 stars. And this wasn't a 5-star read, by the way. It was a 3 compared to the last one, which was a much lower rating. But yeah, anywho, that's all I gotta say for now. If you want to keep hearing more about stuff, be sure to follow me in all your favorite socials. Links below. Stay safe and take care. Bye! So we're getting new Christmas toys. Come on, anything's okay.